Hi folks, the recipe today is a very simple one, but I think it's one of the most tasty cakes that you can get, a Victoria sandwich. Very simple ingredients, and the beauty of it is you put them all in together and mix them in one go. First of all, I've got 200 grams of caster sugar in the bowl. To that I will add the same amount, 200 grams of flour, and to the flour I will add a teaspoon baking powder. Sieve that into the mix. Make sure there are no lumps. 200 grams of softened butter or margarine. I'm actually using Stork margarine because I find that it works perfectly well, and the way food prices are at the moment, it's cheaper than butter and it performs just as well. Last ingredient is 4 beaten eggs. I've also added a couple of tablespoons of milk just to make sure the consistency is right. At the start, go a little bit slowly until everything starts to mix in. This is the bit I used to love when, as a kid, my mum was making cakes and we used to fight over who could look in the beaters. Once the mixture is done, I've got 2 cake tins that I have lined with margarine and put a sheet of baking parchment into the base just to stop the cakes from sticking, and hopefully they should come more easily out of the tin once they're baked. Don't waste any of the mix. So you can see it's really very simple. It only takes a couple of minutes to put the ingredients together. Level it out in each of the tins. Second one. You can use a knife, spatula, spoon, anything that you have that's handy at all. And that's your mix done. Okay, so with the 2 sandwiches together, put the first one in. I like to try to put them on the same oven shelf because hopefully they'll cook at the same speed, but you can't always guarantee it. So that's the 2 sandwiches put into the oven. I preheated it to 180 degrees and they should take about 20 minutes each. Okay, timer has gone off. 20 minutes done. One across. Sandwich is ready. Check that the sponges are ready by touching them gently. They should spring back, and those are absolutely fine. Mix by quite carefully. These are loose bases in the tin. So carefully just set them out. Try not to burn yourself because the sandwiches are still pretty warm. And what I will do is leave them there and let them cool completely. The final stage is 100 grams of softened butter, and into a sieve I'm going to put 180 grams of icing sugar. Sift that through. I want to make sure the buttercream is really smooth, no lumps in it. Last of the icing sugar going in. And something else that I like to add at this stage is just a couple of drops of vanilla extract. Some of the other recipes I've always mentioned using extract rather than essence because the extract is made with actual vanilla, where the essence is just a series of chemical flavourings. Start this off as slowly as possible and start getting the butter mixed in with the icing sugar. Will start just at the last minute, come together, and that's the buttercream done. You may notice that I've put one of the sandwiches, now that's cool, onto the lid of a biscuit tin, and I find without having loads and loads of storage tins, rather than dumping tins like that when you use them and finish, if you have biscuits and things like that, keep them clean, and they're always useful for storing cakes and so on. So, coating of jam. I like to put that on the bottom half of the sandwich when it's put together, because I think if you put it on the top half, it tends to drip off and run everywhere. It might drip off anyway. That's that stage done. Next stage is putting the buttercream onto what's going to be the top half of the Victoria sandwich. Don't want to waste it because it tastes so good. I have a palette knife which is handy for this sort of thing. You don't have to have one, you can use any knife at all or a spatula, just to make sure you get a nice even layer of the buttercream around the sandwich. Carefully turn it over and put it onto the jam half. There's one more stage to go, which is with some icing sugar over the top. Give it a good coating. At this stage, it's pretty much impossible to keep the bench clean, but it's worth it. And there you have a finished Victoria sandwich. I do hope you'll make it, enjoy it, and remember guys, if it's some of the Stepping Stones crew, make sure you take some photographs, send it through to us and we'll get them onto the Facebook page.